podcast reaction. I am Jam,
Jess.
and today, officially, finally, it is here. We are reacting to RM's title track, Lost. How excited are you?
Very excited. I can't wait to hear this. Yeah, I'm so looking forward to it because I've been looking forward to the album as a whole, and since we reacted to Come Back to Me, I feel like the anticipation for this track has been
Oh, yeah.
building. So I don't know what to expect, but it's gonna be Namjoon. So
From this first frame right here,
frame, yeah. Something's happening.
something's going on.
We're having a deep dive into Namjoon
Oh,
all
yeah,
in.
and this is like another 5.5 minute video, so
Yeah.
it's gonna go by so fast, just like,
I know.
yeah.
Every time. Every time. It goes by so quickly.
It's so fast. Oh, I should probably lower the volume because otherwise it will freaking break your eardrums.
Yeah, that would be bad. Appreciate it.
All right, shall we get into it?
Let's go.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, okay. There are multiple Namjoons.
Oh.
The Lost Show. Oh.
Oh.
Good evening. 좋은 저녁이에요.
Presenting his new solo single.
Lost.
저는 이 노래를 너무 좋아요.
그는 오늘 밤 우리 위해 공연해요. Performing for us tonight.
Give it up for RM.
Oh. Oh.
I'm goddamn lost. I've never been to a club before I hit the club. I never felt so free before your goddamn girls. I never felt so fine before I hit the club. Hold up, damn now thank you, worry. 정신 차려보니 어느새 나던 걸 시간은 3살 14살긴 벌써 30 And I look up in the sky, it's a silver cloud, you heard it. Dump it underground, pick it up, throw it in the trunk. Dump it underground, pick it up, throw it in the trunk. Dump it underground, pick it up, throw it in the trunk. Dump it underground, pick it up, now let's go dump. Dump it underground shit. Dump it underground shit. 난 자꾸 넘어져, 피가 흐르는 중. I get lost in the ground, but not bagging at you. Goddamn lost.
Okay, I need a moment. I need a moment.
I feel like you were just absorbing what was going on.
So Judy is having a full-on existential crisis.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Oh my gosh. What an intro to a music video. First of all, I'm loving this really 60s inspired setup here. And we even have the matching aspect ratio with the screen being that more square screen. Yeah. That used to be the standard because televisions back then were in that ratio. It's 4:3, I think, is what the ratio is called. And it's this very square aspect ratio because TVs back in the day used to be that size, so they were trying to fit it to that. Nowadays it's very different than that because we have different screens and they're all different sizes. So that's kind of cool. I like that. It's very like with this kind of aspect ratio, you're also like losing some like information on the side. So you're
Mhm.
kind of having to contain a lot of that information within a square box.
Let me tell you, there is a lot going on, so
It's a
I
lot.
think we have plenty of information in this video especially.
There's a lot. We also have like animation. We have like a really like fast jump cutting between
Okay, but isn't this
everything.
like very like funky and groovy?
Yeah, that's I think
Especially for Namjoon, it's like something we haven't
yeah.
like heard as much from his solo work.
It's very funky. It feels
Yeah.
like I feel like 60s is probably like the best genre
Oh yeah.
comparison. I feel like it's very reminiscent of the 60s, which is why I think like the music video is definitely in that same sort
Yeah,
of
60s, like 70s
70s
ish.
vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, like not
The oversized suits and
yes,
everything.
yeah. It's like not quite like disco era like 60s 70s. It's
No,
more like
it's more like
R&B.
hippie
Yeah, like
R&B. Yeah.
yeah. It's very
Um,
interesting. I don't think we've ever seen him in this kind of a like genre before, so it's quite interesting to see him
oh,
in here.
absolutely. And it's just
I
like the
love.
contrast with like all the different like characters because obviously they're all him.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
It's definitely like I love this
It's
like
it's
play.
definitely yeah, Junie is having an existential crisis and obviously this like
Yeah.
in my mind this is like the best way of showing it, just having like the like multiple
Yeah.
different people kind
Yeah.
of looking like have the same color eye or whatever, like the
Yeah.
same color hair, same clothes, but all have like the sticker like hi I'm RM or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And so it's such a smart way and like also it doesn't really give you space to being like, oh maybe it's this, maybe it's this, like no, this is what it is.
Yeah.
It was like this is what it is and
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it as obvious as possible.
Yeah. I also love the like the imagery of like a maze of like layers
Oh
of
yeah.
like cuz I kind of feel like that's kind of how like your brain functions. It's like a bunch of mazes that you're trying to like sort through, especially when you're having these kind of thoughts of like not fitting in and being like having that existential dread of like
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, but I
Yeah,
need to
and
like do
just
it.
like just this frame right here is just like it's not linear. It's
Yeah,
just
it's
like
very like
it's just
tilted
like
and
yeah.
jagged and yeah,
All right,
it's
should we
groovy. I'm loving it so
head
far.
back into
Let's go.
Lost in the ground, but I'm bagging that truck. Goddamn lost. Goddamn lost. I've never been to club before I hit the club. I never felt so free before your goddamn ghost. I never felt so fine before I hit the club.
Oh.
I got temptation. I got temptation.
Oh. I think he was thirsty.
Every night I always feel lifeless. And in the morning I feel love, I hug it in excitement. Every morning, every night I always feel excitement. When I feel lonely as fuck, I still lifeless. I'm never loving alone, gonna lightless. I'm gotten lost. I never been to club before I hit the club. I never felt so free before your goddamn girls. I never felt so fine before I hit the club.
Oh.
I never felt so free before. I got temptation. I got temptation.
Oh my god. Okay, pause before we get back into the rest of this music. Holy moly. Okay, I really love how they're using like the camera and framing of stuff. Like especially having the camera a lot of the time tilted where you're like sort of like moving your
Yeah.
head to the side because it's not quite perfect, like that lost metaphor that they're using with the camera is really cool. And I do love the dynamic audio. Like we're hearing diegetic audio where If you don't know what that is, it's like audio that's coming from inside of like a scene that you can like hear, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like like music that isn't a part of the scene. It's like a part of whatever this scene is.
Mm-hmm.
And there's lots of really cool like him being by himself, I think is really interesting, especially for like the chorus part of this song of Lost, of him just like doing monotonous things like in a workspace environment, you know, like where you don't necessarily have any thoughts going on in your head, but it's just like the monotony of doing things over and over and over again is like making you go crazy.
I also just really like you probably can hear it, but like in the back you can kind of hear a higher pitch
Yeah.
voice that you can usually associate with like a female voice.
Mhm.
So it just kind of brings back to like all these characters, like they're different genders and like all different, but they're the
Yeah.
same person.
Yeah.
So ultimately they're just singing or thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
And
It's
so
so
that's
fun.
a very nice touch to putting this like all of this together as well.
I also love this breakdown of
Oh yeah.
the song in the middle here, where it's just like that fierce beat like holding the rest of this video before we get into whatever this bridge is gonna be. Namjoon and his bridges, I swear. I swear.
Yeah, I know. All right, let's see this board climb here really quick.
Let's get it. Get this bread.
Temptation. I got temptation.
Mm.
I got temptation. I got temptation.
Oh. Oh.
I got temptation.
That was
Incredible.
Lost is out everywhere.
Give it up for RM.
Interesting. Well, he had to leave his other selves behind.
I got temptation.
Ooh, okay.
I got temptation.
I love credits like this.
They're so fun.
I love them.
I got them.
Oh, that's really fun.
I
Ooh. The ending is very interesting for the song. Like I really love the breakdown of it, like removing pieces of the instrumentation and like cutting it and then like really like letting his voice kind of carry that. And then to bring it all back at the end, it's like very it's cool. I like when the
I
songs do that.
freaking love like dynamic credits like
Yeah.
those.
They're fun. I love
Those are
credits.
they're so nice. But yeah, he had to leave his other selves behind.
Sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to outgrow your
Yeah, him coming out
former
of the dead
selves.
now makes a lot more sense.
Yes, it really does. I also love that he doesn't have any reaction to the people like saying that
Oh
the
yeah,
album
he's
is
like
out
completely
now.
like
He's like,
poker faced. Just there.
yeah, he's like just existing as a person instead of like enjoying or embracing this like new thing that's happening. It really like I feel like Come Back to Me and Lost, even though like sonically they're not the same, they definitely have a very similar theme
Oh
of
yeah, like what I was saying about that very like kind of like that nostalgia, that kind of like a little
yeah.
bit of like sadness that kind of like pokes at you,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can definitely, even though this is like a lot, like the beat
beat,
itself is a lot
yeah.
more upbeat.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, obviously through the lyrics and through the visuals that we had, it's definitely not that.
No.
But he's got a good themage going out throughout so far from the two songs that we've seen and listened
Yeah.
to.
It also like I think of like another BTS song called Lost as well that's like very similar in not in like sonically speaking or like
Oh yeah, it's
in
completely different.
it's completely different, but I feel like the lyrics to that song and the way that they decided to have the instrumental is very similar, where it's like this upbeat instrumental, and then the lyrics are like, I don't know who I am as a person.
It's like I'm
I'm
fucked.
lost. I don't know. I feel like, you know, with Namjoon, I can totally understand feeling lost. Like when I entered my 30s specifically, I felt this like this ever-growing fear that like I was losing the person that I was prior to being 30. But once I like embraced my 30s, I feel like I am the most like whole person I am in my
Yeah.
30s in comparison to my 20s. And I feel that you know that like desire to like stick with the status quo, but if you do that, then there's no like room for growth or like
Yeah.
discovering who you actually are as a person.
I mean, also, isn't it all like also proven that within like 7 years, like all your particles will be completely different than they were 7 years ago as well?
It's very
So
true.
it's just like that change is going on, not just mentally, but physically as well, even though you don't really realize. It's just like
Yeah.
your body and how you are will be completely different than you were like less than a decade.
Yeah, it's very
So
it's very interesting because I'm thinking about
forever
Indigo.
transformative,
Forever
you know?
transforming. We're all just like little butterflies, you know? We
Yeah.
grow wings. But in comparison, like I'm thinking about the comparison of like Indigo to this, and specifically the title track from Indigo, Wildflower, to Lost. There's a huge, you know, like difference between the two of them. I feel like we've definitely seen like growth enormously. And I feel like Wildflower was immensely sad in comparison
Yeah,
to
there's
Lost.
also like the whole like connotation of calling someone a wildflower too, that now that we have this album with Lost and everything, we can probably kind of associate a little bit too. It's just like a wildflower
Yeah.
is someone that is different from the like general other
Yeah.
like people,
Yeah.
and they're usually introverted.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if Namjoon is pretty introverted, if you
Yeah, he is. Even though he's like the leader and does a lot of like
Yeah.
talking for the group, he's very much an introvert. I mean, like we see a
it
really
brings
good.
some stuff to light, you know?
Yeah. I love getting a glimpse into Namjoon's mind, especially when it comes to music, because I feel like his albums are this like a capturable moment of time,
Oh yeah.
exactly how he's feeling, exactly how he wants to like say the things that he needs to say
Oh yeah.
within
The
that
rap
moment.
climb is especially good with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And Namjoon specifically, he's such like a I don't know.
I
Like,
will never be tired of saying it. Namjoon is
no.
so wise beyond his
He's
years.
so wise. And I feel like we said with Come Back to Me as well, he's so emotionally mature. Like, he can see his emotions, you know, process them, but also be able to like see them in like a vacuum and be like,
Yeah.
you know, oh, I was feeling this like this, but why was I feeling that? And how did that affect everything else that's like going on?
He's got a way of like voicing those emotions and understanding them, and it's so unique
Yeah.
as well. It's like you think people would do it in a certain way, Junie will do it a completely different way, and it just makes sense.
Yeah, it's very true. You thought.
It's like you thought, but you know, surprise.
Surprise, surprise. Junie's here.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't wait to dive into the rest of this album, and we'll definitely be doing like a full album thing on our regular podcast on Thursday.
Yep.
So stay tuned for
Absolutely.
that.
So, but as usual, let us know in the description, in the comments, not description, you don't have access to that.
No.
The comments, how, like, what your thoughts are on the song and on the album, and what your reaction was to this amazing music video.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you know where to find us on social media and all of that good stuff. That is in the description if you
is.
need it.
If you need it, it's right there.
But otherwise, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next Thursday.
See you next Thursday.
Bye.